A past mistake becomes heavy when it is never fully processed, not because it happened, but because it remains unresolved, half understood, emotionally charged, and quietly shaping decisions long after the moment has passed. Learning from the past is not the same as staying anchored to it. The work is to take what the experience has to teach and then to place it where it belongs, behind you, not around you. And this video is meant to provide you with a step-by-step guide on how to do just that. Now let's get into it. So the first thing you need to do is to name the mistake precisely, because vagueness keeps you stuck. Mistakes that remain vaguely defined tend to grow larger over time. I ruined everything, or I always do this, are not truths. They are emotional summaries that prevent clarity. To learn anything useful, the mistake has to be described as it actually occurred. A specific choice, made under specific circumstances, with the information and emotional state you had at the time. Precision matters because it removes unnecessary self-condemnation. When you describe what happened accurately, the mistake becomes something you did, not something you are. The next thing is to identify the real error, not the surface one. The visible outcome of a mistake is rarely the lesson. What matters is the pattern beneath it. Oftentimes, the issue was not the decision itself, but the belief driving it, the need being met, or the signal that was ignored. When you identify the real error, whether it was avoidance, impatience, overtrusting, or fear, you gain insight that applies beyond that single situation. Without this step, the mind keeps replaying the event, searching for meaning it never fully extracted. The third one, extract the lesson as a rule, not a scar. A lesson should guide future behavior, not shape self-perception. If the takeaway sounds like a judgment, I can't be trusted, or I shouldn't try this again, then the lesson was never properly formed. Instead, translate the insight into a simple rule for future decisions, something practical and observable. This shifts the experience from emotional residue into usable knowledge. Number 4, decide where the lesson applies and where it doesn't. One of the quiet ways the past dictates the present is through overgeneralization. A lesson learned in one context gets applied everywhere, even where it doesn't belong. This is how caution turns into limitation. Be deliberate about scope. Clarify the situations where the lesson is relevant, and just as importantly, where it is not. Containment keeps wisdom from turning into fear. Number 5, close the emotional loop, the unprocessed feelings that keep replaying in your mind. Even when the lesson is clear, unresolved emotion can keep the mistake active. Guilt, regret, or anger often linger not because the person has not learned, but because they have not acknowledged the emotional cost. Closing the loop means allowing yourself to recognize what was lost without inflating or minimizing it. It is a conscious decision to stop relitigating a moment that can no longer be changed. Learning completes the experience, emotional closure releases it. Number 6, prove that the lesson is learned through small present actions. The mind stops clinging to the past when it sees evidence of change in the present. One small intentional action, done differently than before, does more to quiet the regret than endless reflection. These actions don't need to be dramatic, they only need to be consistent. Each time you respond with greater awareness, you confirm that the mistake has already done its work. Number 7, redefine the mistake's role in your story. A mistake does not need to be erased to lose its power, it cannot even be erased. It only needs to be placed correctly within the larger narrative of your life, not as a defining moment, but as a formative one. When you see the experience as something that sharpens your judgment rather than diminished your worth, it no longer dictates your direction. In conclusion, let the past inform you, not govern you. The past should function as a reference point, not a ruling authority. Once its lesson is extracted, its influence should end. You are not meant to stay loyal to the moment you knew less. Growth is not proven by remembering your mistakes, but by no longer needing to live inside them. And until next time, bye.